morning and welcome to Good Morning Grenada. We are live right here on GBN TV, Radio K105, as well as Hot 98 FM. And big up to all those locking in on social media. It's Msy.Chrissy in the morning time, also joined by Gary, Mr. Smooth. Good morning to you, Gary.
Hey, good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, folks. It's another day. It's another day. The start of another work week. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was pretty lazy.
Lazy? Well,
a pretty lazy weekend.
I suppose if you worked hard all week long, you can get away with having a lazy weekend.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes, indeed. Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning Grenada. Don't forget, those of you on the Facebook Live, share up the live. Let's spread this thing. And here we are again. We're going to get started this morning. And Missy said her weekend was rather lazy. Mine was rather busy. All right. How was yours, folks? All right. Let's get things started this morning. You with me, Missy?
I am definitely with you.
All right.
I am
We're going to get started off. We got a new COVID-19 dashboard out, all you. All right, so let's jump straight into that. We've got 3 confirmed cases as of September the 23rd. Unfortunately, we have 2 COVID-related hospitalizations. Fortunately, 0 deaths. All right. So right about now, the last test that was done, we saw 79 total tests with a test positivity of 3.8. Active cases stands right now at 51. That's the latest, dated September 23rd, the updated COVID-19 dashboard here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PD Marketing.
Yes, indeed. And of course, your word for today is sporadic. Sporadic. It's spelled S-P-O-R-A-D-I-C, sporadic. Something described as sporadic occurs occasionally, irregularly, or randomly across time or space. So let's use the word sporadic in a sentence. The team's regular meetings became sporadic over the summer months when at some point up to half of its members were on vacation. So that's the word of the day, sporadic.
Yes, indeed. Don't be too sporadic today with what you're doing, all right?
Consistency.
There you go. All right.
Consistency.
Let's jump inside your thought of the day. It's a nice one this morning. Don't raise your voice. Improve your argument. Well, as much as arguing sounds like a bad thing, it actually can be something good, as the opportunity can help to improve us all. It's natural, quite natural for us to always want to win an argument. All right? Well, when trying to win, we tend to try to dominate other people by showing that we are bigger or louder. This isn't a good thing. Now, instead of trying to be super dominant, we try to prove our argument's validity and use real evidence to prove we are right. So let's say if you are going to argue about ice cream flavor, which one is more popular, you can say chocolate, I can say vanilla. Instead of fighting, we can try to prove to each other why each of us is right with a bigger argument, or even better, backed by some fact or data. So I encourage you, next time you find yourself in such a situation, to try and take a pause and reflect. Calmly try to make people understand your perspective and you relate to theirs as well. So once again, don't raise your voice, improve your argument. Your thought of the day.
I love it. Makes so much sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think people also being open to hearing an opinion that is opposite to yours is also important in an argument.
Yeah, definitely. It's where both parties can win in an argument.
I don't know about that, but
Say it again?
see, I don't know about that.
Well,
but okay.
yeah, I get to learn something based on your perspective. You get to learn something based on my perspective.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Fair enough. That makes sense.
That's what
That
I'm
makes
talking
sense.
about.
20 minutes on to 7 o'clock right here on Good Morning Grenada. Of course, we have a show lined up for you that includes the morning edition of the news coming up in just a few minutes. We will head over to the Met office as well just to check in with them. And we're diving into some conversation today, Gary. Tell us what might be happening.
Well, we're gonna definitely get into the issue of the missing code files again. Let's give that some attention this morning. A prominent figure during the revolution has passed away. We're gonna get into that as well as best as we can. Those are some of the news details or the talking points we are going to primarily delve into this morning, plus others. So stick around and make sure you be a part of it. Don't forget to share the live for those of you on the Facebook Live right now.
Indeed. All right, y'all. So we are definitely going to get ready for the morning edition of the news in a short. But I know you have a riddle for us, Gary.
Yeah,
Do you?
Let's have some fun. Let's have
Okay.
some fun with this one. All right, here is this riddle, folks. All right, you guys ready for this? I am used in most sports, have 4 holes, come in many different colors, and there is a state that shares my name. What am I? If you think you can unravel this riddle this morning, let's hear from you, smarty pads out there, okay?
435-2041. That's the number. And I'm assuming that's a U.S. state they're referring to in that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you
Big hint
can.
right there, yeah? Big hint right there.
Well, it's not a hint. It's just being clear. 435-2041. 18 minutes on to 7 o'clock right here. You can call us and see how smart you're feeling this morning. What am I for that riddle right here? And of course, you can always connect with us on the WhatsApp as well, on social media. What was that?
Sorry, that was an audio hiccup here.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure everything's good over by you. That's quite the sound effect.
That came from my end.
Got you. Yeah, man. 435-2041. That's the number you can tackle in. I see somebody send me a message here on WhatsApp.
Go for it.
Okay. They said, answer to the riddle is Jersey.
I wonder what our callers may have to say as well. You think you got the answer? Give us a call then. All right, let's hear what the folks out there in Radio Line has to say. 435-2041. If not, then we'll reveal whether this caller or this texter is correct.
Yeah, for sure. So you ain't saying if the guy correct or not?
Well, I want to have some fun. Well, if we could get some calls, maybe we'll take some calls.
when we have time, we could have fun at this point in time.
We have time, right?
We have a call coming in. Let's take this one quickly. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning. I think it's Josie.
You think it's Jersey?
Josie, and there's a state named Josie too.
Mm-hmm.
Josie has 4 holes.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Well,
am I right?
Well, I don't know. Gary, you'd have to tell us.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yes.
Thank
Both
you.
you guys are correct. Both the texter and the caller. Thank you. Where you calling from?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm calling from Sotes for the first time.
Oh, well, thank you so much for
First time
calling. What's your name?
My name is Jean George.
Jean George. Thanks so much for calling us
I'm
this
so
morning.
glad it's the first time, but I thought of it, And I said yes.
Awesome.
You're absolutely
Thank
correct.
you.
All right. Have a good day, Miss
nice
George.
day. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Excellent. First time calling, you got it right. I say it's a good day. All right, y'all. It's 16 minutes onto the hour of 7 o'clock. That time check came to you. Compliments Grace Foods.
powered Ultratech gasoline and diesel. Available only at Rubis stations.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
I'm Ken Robichis. Thanks for joining us. It was a story that evoked deep emotions after the body of 27-year-old Nixian Dunks Clark was discovered in a suitcase buried in Montmoritz, St. George. Today, the man convicted for that gruesome murder is free on the grounds of missing transcripts from the registrar's office. Renapet Thomas has more in this report.
Alexander Robert Clark walked out of His Majesty's prison on Tuesday as a free man due to the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court. In 2014, the then 32-year-old husband was charged with a non-capital murder of his then 27-year-old wife, Nixon Dow Clark, after he led police to a shallow grave where her body was found in a suitcase. The killing was said to have happened on the couple's 4th wedding anniversary, when Mrs. Clark allegedly found out Alexander was having an affair with their teenage babysitter who was also under investigation. In 2016, Alexander Clark was found guilty of non-capital murder and was sentenced to 67.5 years in prison by Madam Justice Paula Guilford. After 8 years in prison and his attempt to appeal his sentence, he is now a free man. Anselm Clouden is the lawyer representing Alexander Clark, and he explains that in February of 2016, he appealed his client's case, and after 3 years, they were unable to secure the transcript of the hearing.
So the court made certain inquiries. What has become of the transcript? And the registrar advised the court that, in fact, the computer that had the recordings of the judge was stolen. Stolen. Yeah. Stolen. There was a case, and this is becoming quite prevalent because of the lack of proper security of documents in the court.
Clouden says because of the lack of security for court documents and equipment, the transcript was lost, and as such, his client was unable to appeal his case at no fault to him. Due to this and the fact that the court has no legal right to order a retrial, his client was immediately released with a reduced sentence of time served.
So that we appealed to the Court of Appeal, saying, look, you cannot have this man in prison without his ability to prosecute his appeal. It's unfair. We argued that, look, you have to grant a stay of proceedings because there is no evidence that the stolen computer containing that information would ever be retrieved. And you cannot have an accused person in prison where he has appealed and his appeal cannot be heard because of the state's problem, not his. He had nothing to do with the disappearance of the computer.
The lawyer believes that this ruling will set a precedent for other court matters in which evidence is lost.
Notwithstanding the resistance from the DPP's office, Mr. Howard Pinnock, he came up with all kinds of alternatives he suggested to the court so that they could, if possible, they could come back and charge Mr. Thing again. Of course not. That would be contrary to the law because he has at bar what is called an atrophy convict. So he was convicted on the same evidence, and they can't use that evidence against him any further. Mr. Pinnock, the senior Crown Counsel in fact indicated that there are a few cases of like condition. And it is very likely that this case would be a precedent-setting case.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Meanwhile, senior Crown Counsel in the chambers of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Howard Pinnock, says that in his 16 years in the office of the DPP, this is the first time he has encountered such a case within the court.
The usual issue is transcripts do take some time, delays in producing the transcripts. But it's the first in my experience that we have actually had a portion of a transcript, some of a transcript missing, and a very, very crucial aspect of the transcript as well. So it's not something, you can assure the public, it's not something that is norm. It's not something that is norm, and as the acting Chief Justice Batiste indicated in his order, it's an exceptional. He said it's an exceptional circumstances.
Pinnock said he pushed vigorously for the outcome of the Alexander Clark case on Tuesday to be different, but it was beyond his control.
It's a very exceptional case, and you should assure the public. I certainly tried my best because we're arguing for nearly an hour and a half. I was trying to prevail on the court if at least they could, order a retrial. But based on how the law stands, they didn't have the statutory power to order a retrial of the matter, and so the only option they had in this case was to order a stay of the proceedings.
Attorney at Law Jerry Edwin says the release of convicted murderer Alexander Clark is just a tip of the iceberg. Rena Pett Thomas has the latest update.
As it stands now, I suspect there will be many other appellants who will have to be released because their transcripts could not be found. So this is the tip of the legal iceberg that we are facing here.
That was Attorney at Law Jerry Edwin speaking on the implication of the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court, a technicality that led to the immediate release of Alexander Clark on Tuesday morning. He says the case of Clark is not the first, as he has a client who was freed under the same circumstances and one who is presently in the same situation.
This is not the first time. In a previous murder case, I had a client. We received an order from the Court of Appeal that the transcript should be prepared. And for 3 years, no transcript could be found. And so my client was released. I have the case of a young man named Javid Glasgow. He is dissatisfied with the 15-year sentence he received. For the last 3 years, we cannot find his transcript. All that could be found was 1/2. Can you believe this? 1/2 of the transcript.
The lawyer says the use of tapes and other outdated tools within the court has proven to be a strain on the office of the registrar.
Now, let us not castigate anyone here. It is not the fault of the registry. It's more a technological issue. We are working with outdated technology tools. We need to digitize these transcripts. As soon as they are made, they should be put in the cloud and stored there. Being ever mindful of these problems, I should say these minefields that can lead to a miscarriage of justice.
Edwin says that if something is not done soon, then this situation will never go away. It's been years since local lawyers such as Anselm Clouden have been using the media to call for better security and tools for court documents. Clouden said securing court documents must be paramount.
And it is very likely that this case would be a precedent-setting case. So I'm calling on the new administration. We knew things were done haphazardly in the past, and things were just there laying around. There was no respect for the rule of law, no respect for judgments of the court. I think we should now insist in the transformational agenda that all court documents are properly secured.
It is the hope that the new transformative regime will address this speedily. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Well, a former government minister and businessman is questioning the security of Grenada's court system as he expresses concerns on the outcome of the Alexander Clark appeal case this week. Rena Pett Thomas has another report.
Finley St. Louis, a local businessman and former government minister, is airing his concerns with the recent happening within the legal system and the outcome of the Alexander Clark case in the Court of Appeal. He is now questioning the security of the court system in Grenada and its ability to implement effective justice when transcripts are going missing and convicted murderers are walking freely due to technicalities.
How many more such cases that were on that laptop that was thrown? How many more convictions that probably persons convicted will get off because that laptop or the computer or whatever has disappeared? And eventually they will get off too, because if it happened once, if this is the way it's going, it means that it can happen several times in the future. The fact is, the system is not secured. It seems to be there for Tom, Dick, and Harry to go in and do whatever they want with the system.
Alexander Robert Clark walked out from His Majesty's prison on Tuesday, a free man, due to the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court registry. In 2016, he was found guilty of non-capital murder and was sentenced to 67.5 years in prison for the death of his then 27-year-old wife, Nixie Clark, after he led police to a shallow grave where her body was found in a suitcase. St. Louis says that Grenadians need to wake up and demand security when it comes to our judicial system.
It has affected me in such a way that I thought I should make this statement to the press so that our Grenadian people will become aware of what's happening so that we can get protection. Because something like this having happened, none of us are protected. We are not protected in any way. When something like this will happen and one can get scotch-free from a jail sentence that they had for a crime that obviously was committed, and indeed they got off after doing a few years.
He hopes that such a case as Alexander Clark will not be repeated in his small country.
I never believed it was possible for somebody to get away from a case like that, where it was clear, in my opinion, that this man had committed the crime. For the body of his wife to be found in a shallow grave, in a suitcase, how can we as Grenadians accept something like this for our legal system? Something has to be wrong. And I honestly hope that there will not be a recurrence of something like this to have happened in our country anymore.
Attorney at law Anselm Clouden, who represented Clark, says proper securing of legal files is one of the issues that must be taken seriously within the legal system.
It has arrived for us to be more careful, more meticulous in the way we treat legal documents. They're highly sensitive, and they ought to be kept in a vault, not lying around in some cabinet. You keep them in a vault, and we're in the age of technology. You have certain residuary backup mechanisms to ensure that if you have a break, if you have a hurricane, if you have a flood, earthquake, and certain things, a damage, you still have access to certain things in a vault, in a secured building, in a secured place.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
I'm a winner, you are winner, we are winners, winners.
Be an instant
instant winner today with the NLA by simply purchasing your Daily Pick 3 and Playway tickets at your nearest agent or NLA outlet. As a proud sponsor of the CPL cricket coverage, the NLA continues to support the development of sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The NLA, making your dreams a reality.
I'm a winner, you are winner, we are winners, winners.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Welcome back. Another goal for Grenada's decathlete, Lyndon Victor. Here's the report.
Grenadians are in a celebratory mood as decathlete champion Lyndon Victor scored a big 8,550 points at the Decasta meeting in Talence, France, to win the men's decathlon convincingly, breaking his own Grenadian national record from 2017. Victor won the overall men's title in the World Athletics Combined Events Tour. Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, Ron Redhead, has congratulated Victor, saying Grenada is elated by Lyndon's wonderful performance and added that every Grenadian will continue to feel proud of him. Victor contested his fourth decathlon of the year, having finished second in Godzee and fifth at the World Championships before his triumph at the Commonwealth Games. Still, he showed a little fatigue in Talence at this late season stage. The 29-year-old opened his campaign with a wind-assisted 10.61 in the 100 meters, finishing second to Germany's Manuel Itel with 10.44. In the shot put, Victor launched ahead thanks to a 15.75 meter throw, almost a meter farther than any of his rivals. Victor ended day one with a win in his 400 meter heat, clocking a personal best of 48.20 for the day's quickest time ahead of Germany's Malik Diakate, 47.74, and Gao, 48.19, giving him an overnight score of 4,438 and a 128-point lead over Gao. Victor's strong series continued Sunday, starting with a 14.70 run in the 110 hurdles, just a few hundreds shy of his season's best. Victor was upended before responding in the next event, throwing 51 meters, the day's best mark in the discus, to regain the lead. He equaled his 4.80 season's best in the pole vault and followed it with a 66.01 meter throw in the javelin, another intense event for the Grenadian, giving him a lead of almost 400 points going into the final event. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Government ministers are rushing to avoid another Molyneux-like situation from developing. Christina John has details in this report.
On Wednesday, MP for St. George Northwest, Jonathan Lacrette, Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, and other officials from his ministry visited an area in Brisbane, St. George. Minister Lacrette said residents brought to his attention a portion of the road along the Western Main Road that needs urgent attention.
Well, I'm no civil engineer, but by mere observation, the road is compromised, and if something is not done very soon about the infrastructure. The possibility exists that we may have another Molyneux on our hands. So as a result of that, I believe that a feasibility study was done for the entire Western Corridor. It's to look at the study right now and to ascertain whether or not this aspect of the Western Corridor was also taken into consideration as it relates to infrastructurally adjusting the road, and then we move on from there. But
MIT Minister Andrew Williams says they will have experts visit the area as soon as this Friday to conduct assessments to determine what is causing portions of the road to sink.
What will happen, we will be in contact with some of our geotechnical engineers that will come and do a proper assessment of the area, and then we will know how we proceed from here. But all in all, this is just a preliminary visit where we are just observing and see what is going on based on what the villagers, or based on the concern of the villagers. It is too early to speak and to assume or suggest that this may be a Molyneux type situation. And that is why we want to bring the geotechnical engineers to come and make a proper assessment of this area, right? And then we will take it from there. But,
Minister Williams says attempts were made to remedy the problem before. However, much more needs to be done. He also identified a manhole in the road and is not sure if a seepage is contributing to the problem. Hence the need for a proper assessment, he says.
I've seen the patches in the road, which seems to have been done a little while now. And yes, some of the villagers, they showed concern. And just yesterday one guy said to me, Andy, before they could have passed in the back of this area here to go down to the beach. He also said there was a silk cotton tree somewhere in the area that they could have hung on to go down to the beach. But the tree is no more. And we see that from where we are looking here now, we are seeing some of the soil which seems to be going down. So again, I'm not an expert, but what I can see is some of the soil seems to be deteriorating, causing the road, part of the road, to be hollow.
Christina John, GBN News.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Hero CPL, there will be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On Tuesday 27th, Wednesday 28th, and Friday 30th September 2022, transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN TV News will be at 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. Transitions will be rebroadcast after the GBN News repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
This could be out. Brilliant catch. What a stunning catch.
The biggest party in sports, the Caribbean Premier League, is back and live on GBN television. Capture the energy, excitement, and euphoria of the beloved game. 34 matches, 6 teams, only one to be crowned champion. The action starts August 31st and runs until September 30th. Live on GBN television at K105.5 and 105.9. It's no carnival, but you will enjoy the mass.
And you're kidding me! You are kidding me!
GBN's broadcast of the Hero CPL is made possible by Republic Bank, we're the one for you. Habats, National Lotteries Authority, Demerara Mutual Life, Grenlec, Kenish Trucking, Webisco and Bermudas, Consumers Guarantee Insurance, and Had-On Plus.
Welcome back inside Good Morning Grenada. Msy.Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth in your company. 9 minutes after 7 o'clock right here.
So we're back on Very Inside. Good morning to you guys. Yes. Our number 2 inside the second half of this morning's program. For those of you getting to work for 8 o'clock this morning, all the best. Hope you get to work on time. Kids, hope you have a blessed day today. First day of the new school week. Do enjoy that. All right, we're proceeding here in the morning time. No time to waste, all right? So we had a very controversial figure in the revolution, as spoken about during the news. H.A. Hudson. What's his second name again?
Austin,
yes. Now, as Minister of Culture, the of course the parliamentary representative for the Northeast, of course, paid homage. He said, as Minister of Culture and Member of Parliament of St. George Northeast, I pause to recognize the passing of General Hudson Austin, a controversial revolutionary figure of Mardi Gras St. George. He is a historical figure in the creation and the demise of the Grenada Revolution. I was able to meet him on 4 occasions. As we approach Thanksgiving celebrations for 2022, I wish to use this opportunity to encourage the official recognition of all the significant dates in October 1983. The government's new policy is to have a week-long list of activities known as Recognition and Remembrance. This year, as a start, Remembrance will occur on October the 19th, followed by a church service on the 25th. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell is expected to hoist a white flag to signal the commemoration of national healing of this dark period in our nation's history. Okay? So that's according to Ron Redhead, all right, MP for, of course, St. George's Northeast and Minister of Culture. There you had it, my friend. So, of course, remembering Hudson Austin, H.A., as, of course, he's laid to rest. And, of course, condolence to his families and closest friends.
Yes, indeed. Accept my sympathy to all those who all his loved ones.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I mean, a lot of folks would have different things to say. Right now, read the revolution back in the day. Some very fond memories, some not so fond memories. I recall an interview that was done sometime back before his passing, where he gave details of his childhood days growing up, his involvement in the revolution, what happened on that fateful day, his relationship with the then Prime Minister Maurice Bishop. He also spoke of his memories of Gary and some of his relationship and some of the things he took exception with the Prime Minister at that time, which was Eric Gary. All right, listen to this short clip here where he was speaking about, of course, his thoughts on Gary.
Well, because what I see was going on in the country. Tell you straight, I didn't happy with what Gary was doing. The first thing I came up vexed with Gary. I used to listen to Gary from the very beginning when he came in on the 51 strike. I think I was a young boy and all them kind of thing. And listen to him, he used to come by somewhere and I'm beating up late at night. They're short, beaten. I'm talking about how the people need homes and the children could see our mama and daddy doing it at night and them kind of thing. Then when he had a chance now to give the people a good little home, what do I give them? A stick house. A little stick house from Soeda. Right?
You're talking about the Janet house you're talking about?
I say that. He could have done better. He could have done better. Then that give the people a good little house. I live 14 by 10. This room bigger than it. Because this room is 16 by 20. Right? The next thing I get my vexed with Gary. At one election, a lot of spoiled votes. And Gary realized if he continues to vote these spoiled votes, he could lose the election. Instead of Gary mobilized the party to teach the people how to make a proper egg. man could do. That one pissed me off. That one pissed me off. I said, how the hell a man with the stature of Gary could want to keep the people ignorant? The next thing I ever vexed with Gary is, he used to have the poor people making harvest for him. Harvest, They take their body and they buy things and they make harvest and something over the night he bastard and collecting money. Those things piss me off, George. If I tell you them things, they piss me off alive. That is what twists me against Gary. I like him as a poster, I tell you I like. But for a leader, I as a young boy who struggled to get an education.
We're going to cut it here, but yeah, that's just an idea of that was an interview conducted by George Worm on, of course, with Hudson Austin, speaking of a number of things, including some of the events and details of some of the events that took place during, of course, the invasion and what led up to that, of course. All right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think it's always good to get pieces of our history, and I mean the revolution is quite a controversial one.
Very controversial.
You know, so it's always good to hear people's account of their involvement.
Yeah, he also said in that interview, he said that one of the first things Maurice Bishop, when he took office, asked him. He said, Hudson, what's one of the first things you want to see implemented? And Hudson said he turned around, he looked at Maurice Bishop, and he said, free secondary school education. Does that sound familiar? Yeah.
Well, it's so strange that it wasn't free before, because I guess it's become such a norm.
Yeah. There you go. So this is where we are right about now. So I mean, there's so much that can be said, and so many. But we just want to acknowledge that there are people hurting over the passing of this gentleman, regardless of what you may feel or think of him. Yep.
Definitely.
But we're moving on here in the morning time. Okay. What else are we going to talk about this morning, buddy? Again, we have a missing person audio. All right, and it seems like this trend has resurfaced. All right, so the public, or the Grenada Police Force rather, is seeking the assistance of the general public in locating Fanari Chichester. She's a 17-year-old student of St. Andrew, and she left home since on the 3rd of September 2022 and has not returned since. All right, she's 5 feet 7 inches in height, black hair, brown complexion, and they're saying anyone seen Fanari or has any information about her whereabouts is asked to contact the Grenville police station. Now that she's been missing, this report came out just before the weekend, so it could be that she might have been found already, and we just hope that all is well and she is safe indeed. Okay, so that's the latest on this missing person report we've got right here.
Yeah, we're really hoping that all is well with her and her family.
Indeed. All right, moving along here in the morning time. Here's another interesting one, boy. The first 90 days in office, the NDC administration have accomplished this milestone. First 90 days in office. GBN did a report, and they seek to, indulge the public. What grade, between 1 and 10, will citizens give the NDC administration following its 90 days in office? So let's check in with that report from Gerard Joseph. And when we come back, we'll get your take on this family. All right. You all know the number here. It is 435-2041. Let's check out the report on NDC's first 90 days in office.
We're having a little technical difficulty there, but of course we're just looking at the first 90 days in office of the new administration, who got into office, on the 24th of June?
Yes. From the 24th election, yes, 24th of June.
In the meantime, we can take a call. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Nadia. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine. I will give the NDC an 8 for the performances so far in office. Why I give 8? The majority of the issues that they campaigned on, and this was huge issues in terms of what they said with the teachers getting back their money, and also paying of the pension, which I think I know they will do, and even we planted trees in the spice garden over at Laura. I will give the NDC an 8 so for now, but I know they will get higher later on. And also what we are seeing is the contentious issues that the previous administration had with people, and people seems to be happy. You do not hear much grumbling in terms of the problems that the majority of working class people face in the country. Look at the situation where they settled the issue with Msy. So people are becoming happy. People are happier in this country, and people are speaking more than they did when the last administration was in office. So I want to congratulate the National Democratic Congress for living up to the promises, some of the promises they had mentioned in the campaign during the election time.
Okay,
I really want to congratulate them for that.
Thank you for your contribution. All right, 43520. We have that clip ready in terms of Jared Joseph's report on the NDC administration.
Project number 1. I want us to start by getting the nutmeg plants, getting the clove plants, getting the cinnamon plants. Because remember, project number 1 is that we are going to replant all of the spices of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada.
The National Democratic Congress administration is approaching its first 100 days in office, and some of the NDC's election campaign promises are now under the microscope.
To repay to the teachers of Petit Martinique and Carriacou and Grenada the salaries that were docked unjustly from them, and that those payments should be made as early as the end of July 2022.
The NDC's transformation agenda included part of its commitments, the payment of pension, reviewing the national minimum wage, and free education up to term CC.
Once the cabinet is appointed, we did indicate that we would be taking steps to ensure that these fees do not prevent our students from entering secondary school or entering primary school, as the case may be. So obviously I expect the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Finance will do what is required to ensure that students are registered and not prevented from registration because of $300.
In early July, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell promised that within the next 100 days in government, his administration will address the issue of pension payment.
Our intention, frankly, is to have action on that within the first 100 days. So that's one of the next big steps. We really want to address the worker issues in Grenada, because we think if we do that, we'll have industrial peace, we'll have goodwill, and then the productivity that we need to move the country forward.
Less than 2 weeks later, the NDC government announced its intent to commence retroactive pension payment by November 30th, with a pension secretariat approved at the end of July.
We can find all kinds of reasons to not do it. We can make all kinds of excuses to not do it, but we are committed to doing it, and I can assure you, as long as I have breath, it will happen on or before the 30th of November.
The supplementary appropriations bills to facilitate the process of retroactive pension payments are scheduled before Parliament in the coming weeks. The Prime Minister also noted the cost of living factors affecting citizens will be a focus as highlighted during NDC's campaign. Several government initiatives have since been launched in that regard.
Small and micro-sized enterprises in Grenada can access up to $30,000 in grant funding to inject into their businesses. This falls under the third component of Stimulus Package 3.0, which government launched on Tuesday.
We will monitor the situation on a month-by-month basis. Should the price per gallon begin to trend upwards, and should it get to a point where, again, it becomes difficult for our citizens to pay, we will then look at reinstituting the cap. For now, we are going to gauge, as an indication, somewhere around $17 per cap. So we can assure the public that should the price per gallon go back to at least $17 per gallon, then we will reinstitute a cap at $17.
The government has also decided to continue not to collect petrol tax as of the next price change on September 18th. This will continue till December 31st. Meanwhile, as of October 1st, 2022, a pre-COVID cap will be implemented on all freight rates for 6 months for the first instance.
Several commitments made by NDC can be checked off the list, including restructuring and upgrading the Imani program, the National Spice Replanting program, which was launched earlier this month, and the appointment of a committee to establish a cannabis industry. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gerard. Oops, let me lower my audio down. All right, yeah. So there you have it. All right, NDC's first 90 days in office. The question: how do you rate the current administration from a grade between 1 and 10? All right, how do you rate the NDC administration? So give us a call. Let's weigh in on this.
We have someone here saying in the WhatsApp, they're saying so far they have proven to want industrial peace, seeking ways to address inflation and promoting an inclusiveness to the Grenada economy with more domestic involvement of young people. There's a high level of transparency, something not seen in decades in Grenada. I'll give them a 10.
10 it is. All right. Let me see if I can refer to my message here. It says here, this person, UNET, it says they get a 10 in my book. All right. Let's see what else is being said here.
Interesting. Pass marks alone so far?
Yeah, but
8, 10, 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have a call coming in. Yeah. Good morning, you're live.
Morning, sweetheart. I will give them a 10 because you know when you don't easy to trust and they bring back this trust in politics. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. 435-2041. That's the number right here. And another caller coming through. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good morning. I'm giving them grade 10. So far, they're doing well. I hope they continue to keep up the good work.
All right.
Have a blessed week.
You too. Thanks for calling.
Yes, indeed. Matthew Morin says, good morning, all. 10.
What? Another call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. I will give them a 10.
Okay. But you have a reason?
Paying all the teachers, pension, they're doing good.
Okay, all right.
Alistair Warwood is saying it is the best and most progressive 90 days in Grenada's history. I may be wrong, but update the country if not so. I'm rating 10 plus.
10 plus. All right. Yeah, boy, interesting.
Yeah, indeed. We are continuing here in the morning time. Haven Hill on a different topic. She's saying it is insensitive and inconsiderate to prolong and commemorate Hudson. Acknowledge the death and move on. To show clips and to play voice notes is, and I lost the clip, but in essence she's saying is just insensitive. All right. Thank you.
Good morning,
Hill,
caller.
for your response.
Good morning, caller. Hello.
Hello, morning. I'd like to give them a 10. I was giving them a 10.
Okay. All right. Thanks for calling. And another message coming through the WhatsApp says the NDC gets a 10. Transparent and executing as promised. The most progress in 90 days. We have another call coming through. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Based on the topic this morning, I was someone who grew up. I was a little guy from the 50s, and so I would say I get my knowledge started from in the late 60s. And when you look back from the late 60s up to today, and I'm going back from, I could only remember from Dr. Eric Matthew Geary on the way up. What I think happened is that a lot of the politicians, a lot of them forget where they came from and what they were elected to do. And I believe at the end of the day, when you look back from there, apart from those who were there for a year, 2 years, but talking those who were there for 4 or 5 years and more, I believe they forget all what they were supposed to do while they were put there. This government at the moment, I am speaking straight across the board, I would not give them 10 years. I'll probably give them 7 because they're still yet to prove themselves. But what is important is that they're very young people, most of them, and I believe if they take advice and never forget the reason why they've been put there, then in the next 5 years we could be able to say, okay, or 4 years we might be able to give them a 10. But I'll give them 7 for now. They're young, I'll be dead and gone long, and they may be still in power. So I believe at the end of the day, they're still yet to prove themselves. So I'll give them a 7. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your contribution. You know when you used to get mark in school, and you just get a mark, but there's no explanation. I like how he broke it down and he gave full explanation. So it's good to hear your analyses on the topic. We're going to take one more caller and then switch gears. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller.
Someone says here, 9 pleas, room for improvement, but they are on the right track. That's Kisha. Thank you very much for your response.
Indeed, 28 minutes on to 8 o'clock in the morning time on this lovely Monday in Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. I know you wanted to dive into another conversation, so we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Bye.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
want to be free as can be.
They say that freedom is the ability to fully experience life. The GUT Credit Union is giving you the freedom to choose. Get a loan for any purpose, whether it's consolidating your debt, buying a vehicle, owning your home, back to school, or a dream vacation. We offer competitive rates with terms and payments that fit your lifestyle. Call 440-1354. Email loans@gutcu.com or visit go.gutcu.com/freedom to start enjoying your life, your money, your way. Promotion ends September 30th, 2022. Special conditions apply. More freedom, more choices. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products, or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
You know, one day I woke up and, you know, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. You know, nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Welcome back. 23 minutes onto the hour of 8 o'clock right here on this Monday. You're locked into Good Morning Grenada with Msy.Chrissy and Gary Mr. Smooth. Of course, we're live on K105.5 FM, Hot 98, as well as GBN TV, and of course online as well.
Yes, indeed. All right. Good morning to you guys once again. Thanks for those of you on the Facebook Live. We're going to keep your comments coming. We're going to endeavor to get to them in very short order. Before we move on to the most pressing story here this morning, you might have seen that naval ship over the last few days.
I noticed it, yeah.
Yes, pretty huge ship, eh?
Yeah.
All right. It's the USNS Burlington. All right, it's the USNS Burlington, and members stepped off, entered into the communities, and provided some service. Apart from engaging, folks of the police force and SSU unit in training stuff, whatever you call that, tactical training, whatever. All right, they did some of that as well. They also took the opportunity to get into the communities, and in so doing provided some services. Let's go over to this news clip to get more details on exactly what sort of service they rendered. Let's check it out.
Personnel from the visiting USNS Burlington on Friday assisted with cleanup efforts at 2 schools in the south of the island. 2 teams from the USNS were engaged in beautification services at the South St. George Government School and the Caliste Government School. We caught up with the team at the South St. George Government School. Principal officer for the U.S. Embassy in Grenada, Frances Herrera, was also at the school. During an interview, she stated that she had the opportunity to meet with crew members on Monday, September 19th, when they docked the St. George's port. She said that other than providing training services, the military team expressed their desire to serve in communities.
This is a first time for many of the military that are on that ship, and they wanted to do some outreach, some community service, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity for us to have some events in the community and to work with the schools and to help with these projects at the schools. Some of the projects we're working on, the steps, there's stairs that needed fixed. There were trash, helping pick up the trash around, and just having them the relationship building between the U.S. and Grenada.
Tim Wire, senior enlisted leader for the USNS Burlington, said they are happy to assist the schools.
We're doing a community relations event. This is a way for us as the Navy to give back to a community like Grenada that's been so hospitable to us.
Yes. So what else can we say? Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see that type of project taking place. So hats off to them, and I hope they have an enjoyable stay in Grenada while they're here.
Alistair Warwood, he says GBN's purpose is to deliver the news to the world, holding nothing back. Whether some like the man, referring to Hudson Austin, or not, the news must be told. All right, we're moving along here in the morning time. Let's get into another bit of news here. All right, we've been kind of like dancing around this topic without really getting fully into it. All right, I want to play a clip that you might be familiar with, but as a conversation starter, let's play that clip once again. And this clip is with Attorney at Law Jerry Edwin. He says the end result, which resulted in the release of convicted murderer Alexander Clark, is just a tip of the iceberg. He says this matter leaves a test of justice not being served. All right. My question is, if they recover the computer and all the missing files, what happens then? All right. What happens? Let's check out the news clip and we'll come right back.
As it stands now, I suspect there will be many other appellants who will have to be released because their transcripts could not be found. So this is the tip of the legal iceberg that we are facing here.
That was Attorney at Law Jerry Edwin speaking on the implication of the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court, a technicality that led to the immediate release of Alexander Clark on Tuesday morning. He says the case of Clark is not the first, as he has a client who was freed under the same circumstances and one who is presently in the same situation.
This is not the first time. In a previous murder case, I had a client. We received an order from the Court of Appeal that the transcript should be prepared. And for 3 years, no transcript could be found. And so my client was released. I have the case of a young man named Javid Glasgow. He is dissatisfied with the 15-year sentence he received. For the last 3 years, we cannot find his transcript. All that could be found was 1/2. Can you believe this? 1/2 of the transcript.
The lawyer says the use of tapes and other outdated tools within the court has proven to be a strain on the office of the registrar.
Now, let us not castigate anyone here. It is not the fault of the registry. It's more a technological issue. We are working with outdated technology tools. We need to digitize these transcripts. As soon as they are made, they should be put in the cloud and stored there. Being ever mindful of these problems, I should say these minefields that can lead to a miscarriage of justice.
Edwin says that if something is not done soon, then this situation will never go away. It's been years since local lawyers such as Anselm Clouden have been using the media to call for better security and tools for court documents. Clouden said securing court documents must be paramount.
And it is very likely that this case would be a precedent-setting case. So I'm calling on the new administration. We knew things were done haphazardly in the past, and things were just there laying around. There was no respect for the rule of law, no respect for judgments of the court. I think we should now insist in the transformational agenda that all court documents are properly secured.
It is the hope that the new transformative regime will address this speedily. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Thank you so very much, Rena, for that report there. You know,
Definitely.
Mentioned the previous administration. I wonder if there was a little, attack on the previous administration, but nonetheless, this is where we are right about now. Jerry Edwin said the issue is digitalizing the files. The files was on the said missing computer in digital form. All right, so It's a technological problem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Hello, you're live. All right. We've lost that caller. But yes, I mean, there's quite a lot of information circulating. This was discussed on the Bub Report yesterday, and lots of new information suggesting that it may not have even been a stolen computer, but as you say, as it relates to the digitizing of files and being able to find those files. So let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Greetings. I'd just like to make a comment on this entire issue related to the missing files, stroke missing computer. The Grenadian people is bewildered because of the diverse information that is being spread around. And therefore, I take this opportunity this morning to call upon the so-called state of Grenada through the ministry responsible for legal affairs, the so-called Attorney General, to get on the horn on a public platform, namely the Grenada Information Service, Government Information Services, and tell the people of this here country what precisely they know up to this moment on this issue, because it is a shameful and painful issue that has to be nipped at the bud. Thank you very much and have a nice day, will you?
Thank you.
Same to you, sir.
Definitely. I think that's the concern.
Yeah.
That is my concern at this point. We need to hear from the authorities on this matter.
Oh, definitely. And they'll, I guess, gathering their thoughts. Anyhow, Haven Hill is saying here, good thinking, Gary. Why didn't they give a grace period to find the computer? Why not do a thorough search of the archives and backup before setting him free? Why not reduce the years? How were they so sure that the computers will not be retrieved, that they set him free spontaneously? And that was my thought process earlier on. What if that said computer is retrieved? What if it is found and the missing files within it? Then what happens then? Do we then go back out on a manhunt to find him and put him back in prison? What happens then?
Interesting. Good morning, you're live.
Morning, Missy, and morning, Mr. Smola. You hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Okay, as I said last week, this is an issue of governance. And since after the invasion of this country by the United States and insisted that you had an item of it helping, I can understand how a killing machine could be helping people, the same people that would go and kill our brothers and sisters or other human beings in other parts of the world. It's really contradictory. It's a killing machine. Anyway, in terms of the transcript and so on, we have to remember, and of course part of the news thing this morning is about the late General Austin. He suffered from the court system when the transcript for their trial or the appeal took over. I don't even know if it was resolved. For years, they wanted the thing. And there was even thing where the judges said if they didn't get pay and that kind of. We have been meddling with the court system for too long. We have to clear our hands from the court and let the court function properly, resource the court as in other institutions. Otherwise, we're creating a jungle state in this place. I mean, it's sad, it's embarrassing. And people might try to excuse the previous government in particular, although, I mean, it goes back to 84 or 83. I mean, the last government in particular has to be held accountable. They show no respect for the judiciary, try to manipulate, remember Wildman and so on, when they tried to impose him as a Attorney General and so on, when the Bar Association refused. It was too blatant. And we boasting about economic growth and economic this and that. It's embarrassing, and I want to call on the citizens of Grenada to check yourselves, citizens of Grenada to check ourselves. What were our contribution or lack of contribution that allowed the situation to get like that? And Mr. Smooth, we're asking some important questions, but you have to understand there's something called due process. The problem is not the guy. If the system fails, they have to do according to law. And that's why when we're doing law, when we're implementing law, we must make sure that law is as broad as possible so that, I mean, people don't get undue, treatment. Thanks a lot for your indulgence.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thanks a lot. Interesting. So we're moving along here in the morning time. This person says, Jerry Edwin says this is no fault of the registrar's office, but a technological problem. Such nonsense. How is it who is in charge of managing the technology of how we record, retain, and safeguard the files? It is still humans behind the technology. So the question is still begged. Who is or what is to be blamed? All right,
let's take this caller here. Good morning. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're live on Good Morning Grenada.
Good morning. I am calling.
Okay, caller, it's important that you listen to us on the phone and not on the TV or so. Yes. Okay.
I want to lend my voice to what's happening in the court system. And as a mother, I am very concerned. I have 3 daughters. 1 already passed and 2 is alive. And when I look at this young woman picture and a man who says he did the crime, put her in a suitcase, bury her, and then I watch that young man walk away from prison because somebody somewhere, some crook, some witch or wizard, just I don't know what's happening in this court system, but I don't even think this lawyer should come and talk about what's missing and what's missing. I have been reliably informed that the case has been going on for a whole month, and in one day they could not find the transcript, so they dismissed the case. I want to call on GBN as a group of women from the church. We want our voices heard. We want to speak out on this issue and do not let it rest. We want to call on our nation to don't let it rest. and to let us continue to advocate for life. Too much wickedness has been happening in our court system. There is a cry in the street for justice, and I tell you, the cry has brought some of us as mothers on our knees, and we will not rest until something continues to happen that is right and good in our court system.
Thank you.
Mothers out there, I call on you to pray. I call on you to let your voice be heard for the wickedness that is happening in our court system. I not a legal mind, but I know we have legal minds. I have not heard anyone speak out there, a legal mind taking up the case.
Thank you so much, caller.
God for us all. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, thanks for your contribution there. Indeed. 6 minutes on to 8 o'clock right here. We're going to take a quick break. Well, may not be so quick, but we're going to take a break and we will come back. Of course, we're reading your comments on WhatsApp as well as Facebook. We'll be right back. This is Good Morning Grenada.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Hero CPL, there will be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On Tuesday 27th, Wednesday 28th, and Friday 30th September 2022, transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN TV News will be at 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. Transitions will be rebroadcast after the GBN News repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
This could be out. Brilliant catch. What a stunning catch.
The biggest party in sports, the Caribbean Premier League, is back and live on GBN television. Capture the energy, excitement, and euphoria of the beloved game. 34 matches, 6 teams, only one to be crowned champion. The action starts August 31st and runs until September 30th. Live on GBN television at K105.5 and 105.9. It's no carnival, but you will enjoy the mass.
And you're kidding me! You are kidding me!
GBN's broadcast of the Hero CPL is made possible by Republic Bank, we're the one for you. Harvard's National Lotteries Authority, Demerara Mutual Life, Grenlec, Kenny's Trucking, Webisco and Bermudas, Consumers Guarantee Insurance, and Add-on Plus.
My granddaughter.
Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products, or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. We're just about to lock it off for today, Monday. Any final thoughts on the topic, Gary?
Well, Dean Thomas is saying, I think it was said they can't retry him again. He was set free for good. My thoughts on that is, so you're telling me the law favors the criminal? You know what I mean? It's apparent. You know? Someone who confessed to a crime is set free because of a missing file. Should that said missing file be retrieved, he cannot be retried. He's set good for free. The law is not always for the just. It's not always.
Someone here says, good morning. This is in relation to how to judge the NDC government. This person says, I would give them a 20 because I couldn't afford to pay school fees for my daughter. The school kept my daughter's report book. I'm so happy it's out of the way now, thanks to the NDC. And another one says, that's happening because I had a matter that was dismissed and they brought it back, so that is going on long, not now. And some of them lawyer is crooked, and when they did not show up in court, they're sending in the registry and destroy evidence. Oh boy. All right, y'all, 1 minute to 8 o'clock, so it is about that time. We are about to lock off Good Morning Grenada. Thank you so much for locking it in with us. Msy.Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth. We'll do it again tomorrow morning right here.
Yes, indeed. Until we meet up again, you all have a wonderful Monday. Enjoy this day and be safe. Catch me over on Hot 98.
Radio.